Okay, so today I thought I'd waste a bit more of my life with the little old Francis Barnett. I'm going to be looking at some clutches. That there is a standard clutch. They are pretty useless. Even got loads of dust on it. We've got the outer plate, we've got a friction plate, got a metal, and then we have this section which is both the gear that's driven off the crank and a friction plate. Then we have that. And what I have over here is a clutch out of a Moto Minarelli engine. It's out of the AM6, like you'd find in, say, Aprilia RS50s and bits like that. So we're going to have a go and see if we can make that clutch fit in that thing. And work, that'd be a bonus. So yeah, as I've got this clutch, I've got another old rusty one up here, and of course there is the clutch that's currently sat in that primary drive. So I've got plenty of bits to go at to see if I can make that thing fit. Right, let's start having a look at the job and see how we get on. Okie dokie, so we've already uncovered problem one. This is the Aprilia, this is a Villiers clutch, or clutch out of a Villiers should I say. But this is for the 3-speed, which is a shame, because the 3-speed has 6 splines on it that measure up near enough to what they measure up. Close enough to be able to just push that on the shaft and leave it. Unfortunately, this being the 4-speed, has this clutch in. I dare say the clue's on the back here where it says 4-speed. The hole itself's bigger and there's only 5 splines. So plan A is already in the bin. I think I'll drink some tea and have a think about it. I'm sure we can come up with something. Yeah, why not? Okay, leave me with it. Right, here we go. That. Yep, that one. I've knocked all the corks out. This is a centre. These are Villiers bits. So there's a bearing in there. That's the race. That needs to spin on that. So that's the Aprilia basket, or Moto Minarelli basket. Bit mucky. I have taken the drive gear off the back of it. We don't need that anymore. So that and that I've got to run together. That needs to be fastened to the outer sprocket, and that needs to be fastened to the inner. So that's sort of what we're aiming for. Obviously nothing fits at all, and this would have been a whole lot easier if Moto Minarelli hadn't drilled multiple holes in the back of that, so I had a bit more meat to go at. So yeah, I think next we've got to machine the basket out so it's big enough to sit around this and be mounted to that. Okay, I am just making this up as I go along. Right, we'll carry on. Okie dokie, so there we go, we've got the clutch basket set up on the lathe. Got the boring bar in there, and we're just making this hole bigger. There's no specific dimension we're aiming for, just big enough for clearance on that bit. And like I said, there's no real dimension we're aiming for, because we can't use this for mounting it to, because this is where the bearings sit. So yeah, as long as it's plenty big enough for that to fit in the middle, sort of doesn't matter. So we're going to go for, oh, you can't really see it in this light, the old rivet holes that are around there. We're going to go until we've got past them. Rightio. Let's put the cut on. repeat until it's done. We'll not film on that, you'll get bored to tears. That's if you are, well, you're not bored already. Anyway, I'll let you know when it's done. Right, yeah, well that's that bit. She's going to sit on there somewhere like that. Now we're going to knock the centre out of that. Knock machine. Yeah, we're not going to be able to make it an interference fit on that, unfortunately. Just this is very not round and tapered and yeah, all the rest of that nonsense. So we're just going to make that hole big enough for it to slip over, hopefully. Right, I'll get on with that bit. Okay, we're getting there. So there's a clutch hub with the centre machine down. Nice slip fit on that. So we've already got this little arrangement sat here. So that should, I'll tell you what, let's start at the beginning. Oh, flipping heck, it's hard work doing this one hour. Mind you, I am holding a tripod. It would make sense just to, but yeah, anyway. So that bit wants to sit there, that bit wants to sit there, that bit there, and that'll sit over there like that. Or at least that's the plan. So yeah, right, just need to figure out a way to attach it all together now. Could be interesting. Right, I'll have a rummage around, see if I can find anything that's going to be useful. Yeah, camera's gone off. There it is, it's back. Right, yeah, well I need to drill some holes in this. I blew it up, I marked it up, I've just wiped my marks off. Because it turns out it is far too hard to drill. I was expecting it to be hard because, well, one, it's got the spline sat in there, and two, that's where the bearings run. So we're going to have to soften her up a bit so that we can drill some holes in, and then we'll have to re-harden it afterwards. So we'll get it nice and hot, so it's sort of like an orangey red colour, and then just leave it to cool naturally, and that should soften it up. And then once we're done, we've got everything where we want it, we shall have to warm it up again, get it back to a similar temperature, and quench it in some oil. Hopefully it's oil quenching steel, but you know, yeah, and that should put the temper back in it. Right, yeah, I'll carry on. There we go, starting to change colour now. Going to hold it at that temperature for a little while, just to make sure the heat is soaked all the way through. And then we'll leave it to cool naturally, and it should take the temper out of the steel. Let's face it, it wasn't always this hard, because if it was, they wouldn't be able to put this down from the centre of it. But once I'm quite happy that this is hot all the way through, I'll just leave it to cool. Once it's all done, we'll get it nice and hot again, and we'll put another temper back on. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Right, so we've got the AM6 clutch hub. That's the centre out of the bilious clutch, one we took out. Annealing it worked, softened it up enough, I managed to drill it. It was that hard to start with. My little centre punch, put it on and hit it, and all that happened was my centre punch got shorter. But it's softened it up enough now. Like I said, I've drilled a couple of holes out there. I've got to do something for mounting it here and here, because these holes are in just the wrong place. I might end up just welding them up. I was going to do it with the big old arc welder out there, but yeah, I don't think it'd be the best idea. You could do it with an arc welder if you were actually good at using them. That thing is a bit tricky to use. Yeah, don't get me wrong, stick bits of steel together with it, but yeah, filling that hole in and not getting it too hot and warping the thing, I'm not confident I can do. So we'll we'll leave that for now. We'll come back to it, because what I've done is the bottom of these posts that your springs screw onto, I've tapped out, put some little thread inserts in. Well, I've only done these two because, well, can't get to them two yet, and I only have 2 inserts left. So anyway, that's what's going to hold that on. And then of course we've got our AM6 basket that I've cut the centre out of again. And then the outer gear with the bearings in of the billiards. That'll sit on there. And it's all blued up, I've not drilled holes and bits yet. That ring, that is an old clutch plate. It's just one of these, just cut the centre out of it. That's going to sandwich that gear to that basket. I'm thinking these nice big holes we've got to deal with, I'm thinking the way I'm going to drill that retaining ring is that the bolts go through the centre, and we'll put some rubber in and just have it so it's slightly cushed. Hopefully it'll work, and it should sort of smooth things out so it doesn't give the rest of the clutch as hard a time. But I think we're going to call that quits for now, because, well, one, I haven't got any inserts, 2, I can't weld the thing up, and I need to space this about 5mm back. And I've been through all my little scraps and I've not got anything. Well, I've got some 5mm plate, but to space it 5mm back, that's about 3mm deep. So I need something 8mm thick. And all my little offcuts of alley I've got kicking about have all got oofing great holes in the middle. And of course I want something that sits nicely against this, so it's well supported. So yeah, I think we'll call that quits for now, and hopefully, so I just had a thought, could make a steel spacer out of the old gear on the back. Christ, that's going to take some machining. No, we'll scratch that. So yeah, hopefully next time we'll get the clutch built, we'll get it finished off and put together, see if it works. Yes, plus I can't do any boring on my lathe right this moment because, like an absolute cretin, I ran my boring bar into the chuck. Rather silly of me, wasn't it? And that is a soldered on tip, and I've smashed the end of it off. So yeah, I do have a high-speed steel boring bar somewhere. I'll have to find it, get it set up. Because yeah, like I said, I haven't got any more tips. So that is that one out of action. It's my own daft fault. Trying to bore out the yeah, that bugger. Yeah, should have trepanned it really, but you know. So yeah, there we go. Alright, you're still here listening to me waffle on, well done. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.